The word Zoomer has become increasingly common in discussions about modern society. Who exactly are Zoomers, and why are they often described as digital people? Zoomers are representatives of what is known as Generation Z. The idea of dividing society into generations was described by researchers Neil Howe and William Strauss in their book, Generations: The History of America's Future from 1584 to 2060. According to this concept, each generation grows up in a different historical and technological environment, which shapes its behavior and worldview. Generation Z includes people born roughly from the middle of the 1990s to the end of the 2010s. Some researchers suggest a slightly different boundary and argue that this generation may begin around 2001. Despite these debates, the general idea remains the same. Zoomers are people who grew up during the rapid expansion of digital technologies. This generation is also known by several other names. Researchers sometimes call them Centennials, iGen, Homelanders, Pluralists, or the new Silent Generation. These different labels reflect attempts to describe a generation that is still relatively young and not yet fully studied. One of the most common descriptions of Zoomers is that they are digital people. Many of them have never experienced a world without advanced technologies. Smartphones, tablets, and constant access to the internet are a normal part of everyday life for them. Technologies such as virtual reality, augmented reality, and high-speed internet are gradually becoming ordinary elements of their environment. Because of this technological background, Zoomers often interact with the world differently from older generations. Digital tools are not something they had to learn later in life. They have been present since childhood and form a natural part of communication, entertainment, and learning. Researchers also attribute several characteristic traits to this generation. Zoomers are often described as people who show interest in art, saving money, and sustainable development. They are considered sensitive and hardworking. According to the generational theory proposed by Howe and Strauss, many representatives of this generation tend to be home-oriented and spend more time indoors. However, not everyone agrees that generational categories such as Boomers, Generation X, Millennials, and Zoomers clearly describe modern society. Critics of the theory argue that technological progress reduces the distance between generations. As a result, it becomes more difficult to draw clear boundaries between age groups. Despite these debates, the concept of Generation Z remains widely used to describe people who grew up in the era of digital technologies. The term Zoomers therefore reflects a broader idea about a generation whose everyday life is closely connected with the digital world. In simple words, Zoomers are people who grew up surrounded by modern technologies and online communication. Smartphones, fast internet, and digital environments are not innovations for them, but a normal part of life. This is why they are often called the first generation of digital people,